Hello everyone, my name is El Parnaso, and after this video you're gonna learn how to play Jubel Fiensmith through different hand traps. But before we start with the video, I just wanted to show you one example of many, literally many, of why this video does not include the Dark Beckoning Beast engine. This will be the example. You have Samsara the Lotus and Dark Beckoning Beast in your hand, but because of the nature of this card, you're forced to start with this as your normal summon. You use the effect, your opponent changed Imperm, and now, just because of one card, you invest your normal summon just to have a generic thing on the board and your actual normal summon on the hand after your normal summon is being used. So you just pass, then your opponent normal summons Samsara, they make full combo, 7 interruption, and you lose. Now let's see how many other cards we have to play through normal summoning Samsara if the Samsara gets interrupted by a hand trap and we're not playing the Dark Beckoning Beast engine. So we still have 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 17. 17 ways to play further the Samsara in a 40 card deck. Now let's see how we actually use them to play through the hand traps. Before we go further with the video, I just want to clarify that of those 17 cards that I just showed you to play after normal summoning Samsara, we're not gonna show examples with these 5 cards because obviously the terraforming is just Nightmare turn, so if I'm gonna show already that card, why do it? The Call by Grave and the Crossouts, because when in any scenario when these cards are applicable against hand traps, they're just gonna replace themselves as jokers with those cards, and you're just gonna make the regular combo that I showed in previous videos. So I don't think it's that necessary. So let's start with the actual interactions. First hand trap interaction that I wanted to discuss is if you get Imperm and you have either the Tractus or the Engraver. Please don't get greedy, don't use the lorry to make a Requiem before sending the Samsara to the graveyard first, because you can save it for later for the actual combo if you allow to put yourself in a position where the Samsara can get back without their effects negated, and that's what you're gonna try to accomplish here. With this extra monster, you're gonna use these two to make the Moodcracker, because if you saw my prior videos, you don't need the Moodcracker, you don't need the Tractus, and you don't need to trigger the Engraver in hand in order to make this and only this 7 interruptions. So you're just gonna put yourself back in that position. You're gonna discard a card, you're gonna revive this, and then you're gonna make that full combo. Now, if the extender that you have is the Nightmare Throne or the Terraforming instead, you're actually in a better position to play around the Imper of the Veiler. And no, because you can go with this first and summon the Phantom of Jubel with it, the popping on the spirit, but because you can start with this and first force the Veiler or the Imper, because if you start with this, they don't know you have this. They only know you have this, but this is enough to make them play something to try to avoid the combo to go further. So they Imper or Veiler you, and after that, you use the field, you pop the Spirit of Jubel. The Spirit of Jubel is gonna get you the Jubel. With these two, as before, we're gonna make the Moodcracker, but because Moodcracker is not at summon, you can wait, and before using it, you can send these two back to the deck to summon a Phantom of Jubel that's going to protect your place after you get interrupted by the first hand trap, instead of using this, showing your opponent that you already have this besides the Samsara, just to play around one hand trap that, if it's Imperm, is gonna be for nothing, because you're gonna be forced to use this and the Samsara to keep playing. So why did you use that when you can actually do this and force them to play and then have the protection of the Jubel while having the full effects of Samsara Lotus still? Because even though you return them with the Jubel, this can still revive the spirit, which is the whole purpose of the Samsara, to special summon this. Obviously you don't have the name for this one, but if you saw the combo, the second Phantom of Jubel that you summon actually use these two, which are gonna be generated in this way. So you're gonna be completely fine to fulfill the combo that I showed in my prior video. If you do it this way, protecting yourself from the first hand trap and the second with the Phantom Jewel. Get Imperm or Baylor, and the only standard is first 1 for 1. It's very simple, you just use it to generate a second Samsara that has its effect. So this one can make the full combo, and this is just an extra body. And if you have the Gruesome, you just have to sacrifice an extension because you're gonna special summon this. You're obviously not gonna pop nothing. You're gonna use them to make the Mudcracker. And here, even though you can use the Gruesome to revive the Samsara and then try to combo, you actually can replace this effect as well as you can replace the Samsara normal summon. So, in order to play around interruptions too, don't get greedy, don't use the Gruesome, and still try to play with only the Mudcracker. If they don't have nothing else, you can leave the 7 interruption field. And if they have something else, you're still gonna have the Gruesome to revive this or another card. The second hand trap that I want to talk about is Ash Blossom. What do you do if you normal summon this and get Ash on the effect? Now, if that happens, and you have the Tractus or the Engraver, you're still fine because as I show you in my combos of previous videos, any of these is still 5 interruptions. The only difference will be that when you get to the point that you summon the Aerial Eater, you don't need to send the Samsara Lotus anymore because it already used its effect. But you can just send the Spirit of Jewel instead, and it's gonna be like you use the Samsara and the Ash never happened because you still have the Samsara in the graveyard as a name for the Phantom, and you're still gonna special summon the Spirit because you're gonna revive it with the Mudcracker. The combination of Samsara and Nightmare Throne against Ash Blossom may seem a bit deficient to you, but I'm gonna explain after I show it so you can understand better. Now, you normal summon this, you get Ash on the effect. After that, you activate the Nightmare Throne, you pop the Spirit of Jewel, you summon the Jewel, and now that you have a Jewel and a Fiend 0 attack 0 defense, you use both of them. You special summon the Phantom Jewel, and now that you have 2 effect monsters on the field, you use them to Moon, which will be used to Requiem, and then you can make the combo I show you with Fablet Lurie, and you can just try with Fablet Lurie, and then leave 5 interruptions still. Now, I understand that in this specific interaction, if you have these 2 and your opponent have the Ash Blossom, obviously it will be better and more efficient to use first the Throne and either get Ash on the Spirit or have the Phantom to change the effect of the Ash when they try to use it against the Samsara. However, in a real duel, an actual duel, you don't know the interactions that your opponent has in their hand. You don't know if they just have the Ash, if they have the Imper and the Ash, etc. So you have to play around the idea of all those scenarios. And when you make that systematic interpretation, the scenario when you start with the Samsara is always going to be better as a pro-medium against the scenario when they have an Imper instead of the Ash, or a Baylor instead of the Ash, etc. So putting yourself in this position when they only have the Ash Blossom, even though you have this bastard combination of Samsara and Nightmare Throne just to make the Fiendsmith combo, it's efficient in the sense that you don't know if they have the Ash Blossom or not. So that will be for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please subscribe and share because you ain't seen nothing yet.